Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Hello, the podcast, episode 67, with me, Jens, and Remo.
Hi.
Hello.
It's been a minute again.
It has been a minute.
It's been a
Because
minute.
of me, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. How you been though? The recovery, is it going well? Do you think? Have you
It's
had any
slow.
checkups with doctors and they're like, yeah, you're on the right path, or like, yeah, we're all good, or do they have to wait a little bit longer still?
I had a checkup with the wound specialist just to check out my
Cool.
wound and just,
Cool.
to tell me
that's a
if it
cool
was
title.
okay or not, basically.
Yeah.
But then I'm waiting to see my doctor for a follow-up.
Yeah.
If the
Right.
surgery was a success or not. So we'll see.
Right. For those that are unaware, Jen's just recently had a surgery to retouch up some of her TOS injury. Because they missed some the first time. So for those that are a bit, what's going on? That's what's going on.
Yeah, it's like deja vu.
Yeah, she was like what, 4 months ago, maybe 5 months ago,
May?
4 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, you went in for like your first round, and then you came out and you were like, yeah, it's better, but it's like it's still there. And then they were like, yeah, actually, it's because we missed a whole chunk.
Yeah. So they got rid of some muscle on the top. But because it's like, I think a lot of tissue trauma, it's still very swollen. And that's like a body, your body kind of does that to protect itself. So
Yes, yeah.
it's been a slower recovery, but I'm here,
Well,
I'm
that's
alive, can't complain.
At least you're not doing like a physical job, like you're in a
That's
warehouse
true.
or, you're like shifting boxes or anything like that, because then you'd be out for a lot longer.
Yeah, or like a cafe or, hospitality, whatever.
Just
like,
anything where you're using your arm, which is most things,
yeah.
which is most things, but yeah.
You'd be surprised how many activities use your arm
yeah.
and your neck. Speaking uses a lot of your neck muscles, which I'm finding out right now. So
Wow,
it's been
okay,
interesting.
yeah. We'll
But
keep it nice and
how have
short,
you been?
hopefully. Yeah, I've been alright. I've been super busy.
Yeah.
Uni is flat out, man, I tell you. Both the units I'm doing at the moment, both have external clients that like, one's a Wombat company, like a Wombat activist group, and then the other is like an external university group that I'm both doing work for at the moment. So my weeks are basically when I'm not at my actual job, or in class, I'm like in meetings, I'm conversing with team, like there's so much to go on at the moment.
So
It's
free
crazy.
labor, basically.
Essentially, yeah. Essentially. It was one of the first meetings I had with one of my clients. They were like, we pay very well afterwards. And I was like, that's great for afterwards, but like,
Nice.
but yeah. So no, that's mostly what I've been doing. And then Fortnite, every other chance that I get, honestly. I've been playing a lot of Fortnite recently.
Well, hopefully we're back into Siege soon because of the new season.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, we can
Coming
touch on
out.
that a little bit because you got to play a little bit of the new season as well. You got a little sneaky peeky.
Yeah, that was exciting. But
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the new op.
well,
some of the other
okay,
new
so
things.
very quickly, the new op is called Grim. He is from Singapore. He is an attacker with like this thing that shoots out a canister, and then that opens and a lot of B-bots come out of it. And that if you're in the radius of that, you get stung, quote unquote.
yeah.
And so you get pinged, which I think is really interesting. And I think it lasts for like 8 seconds, so it's quite long.
It's quite long. Yeah. It's quite long. I've seen some people. I mean, I feel like they have this conversation every time a new operator's announced, but they're like, they're too OP. They're going to break the
sounds
game.
really
They're
strong.
this, they're that. It's, yeah. And then when they actually get their hands on it, they're like, you know what? I don't mind it. We'll leave it. It's fine.
Yeah.
But
It should be interesting seeing that in action.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Because you only got to play like against some bots and things like that. You didn't really get to play against any like real life players. So like you've seen it in a working state, but you haven't seen it in its like full completion-ness yet. you know?
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, so I can't wait to see it in a real
Yeah,
like
in like a live
playthrough.
setting. Yeah.
Yeah. But there are also other really cool additions that are coming, which I think we'll save to when it's
Yeah.
closer to the
For
date.
like, we'll do it next week or the week after,
Yeah, that sounds
probably.
good. Because we
Because
have a
this
lot to
week,
talk about
yeah,
today.
this week is just the Gamescom catch up. So, the day that you're listening to this, on the Friday, Gamescom happened on very early Wednesday morning, the day of recording.
Hmm.
So I woke up to a lot of trailers.
Yeah, I don't know what was
This
happening.
morning.
I was like, what?
Yeah, I honestly totally forgot about it. And then because we've had the last 2 weeks of a break, I haven't been keeping up with
Yeah,
the news as much because it hasn't been part of my quote unquote job, you know?
totally.
Um, so I've just been like chilling, taking my Wednesdays a bit slow, filling them with meetings and things like that. But this Wednesday was back to sort of the normal grind.
Yeah,
And
I've
yeah,
spent
ton of
like
trailers.
3 hours just going through the trailers. I think that's all I've been
Yeah,
doing today is watching trailers. That's
yeah,
a lot.
there is.
So we're not gonna talk about all of them because there are a lot
There's a
of
lot.
them.
We'll put a link
Um,
though to
yes.
a website where we've got all these trailers up and running and like a little breakdown of them. So if you do want to see basically all the Gamescom things in one spot, hit the description up. Make sure you hit that like button whilst you're down there. Because yeah, there's a ton of games,
Well, do you want to
and like
start
we
it
mean a ton.
off with
Yes,
this one?
my most anticipated one for almost 10 years, Jens. 10
Wow,
years
really?
almost. Yeah, so this game was first announced way back in 2014. Way back in 2014. And when I saw it come out and saw it announced, I was like, hell yeah. The first one was sick. I finished the first one in a weekend. I think I've talked about it on the podcast before.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, me and my mate played the first Dead Island when it was one of the first big games for gold games on Xbox, and so we downloaded it and we blitzed it in a weekend, and we had so much fun with it. And then when I saw this trailer for Dead Island 2 back in 2014, I was like, "Fuck oath, let's go!" And then we heard nothing,
Mm.
literally nothing until this morning. Um, and once again, Dead Island is back.
And we have
So
a
the game
date
and we have a date as well. To add the cherry on top of the cake, we got a date because that was the one thing the
for like a
last
year.
time that they didn't do was they were like, yeah, Dead Island 2's coming sometime in
Yeah.
the near future. And then they delayed it and they delayed it and then they stopped delaying it and didn't post anything about it. And then everyone got a bit weary and scared and then they're back now. So it's fine. We've got a new trailer, which we'll have playing behind us as well. I'm going to try and cram as many of the trailers in as I can behind us. Again, if not, they'll all be in the description in that
Yeah.
link, so you can head there and have a look at them. But yeah, just a little recap. So Dead Island's going to be set in a dystopian Los Angeles, crawling with the undead. Obviously, what you do expect out of Dead Island game. Apparently, it's going to take place very shortly after the events of Dead Island
Oh,
1.
okay.
Within like the last 6 months or so, I think. And apparently the game is also going to have 6 playable characters, each with their own unique personalities and styles too, which is kind of interesting.
Is that different from
Because
last time?
yeah, in the first one, like they didn't really have like a different character per
Right.
person. It was just kind of like the same story across the board. Whether or not you played it, single player or co-op and all that sort of stuff. So it's going to be kind of interesting to have these 6 different playable characters. I'm wondering if the unique personalities just mean they each have like a special move set or something like that, or like a
Maybe.
different skill set. And then styles, obviously, the way they dress and look and sort of act and things like that is going to be one of the things. So it'll be fun because I'm assuming this game also has up to 4 players co-op as well, very similar to Dead Island. And it's one of the most fun parts about the Dead Island and the Dying Light series is that you can play with your friends and just go around and smash zombie heads with all these crazy,
It's
wacky
just
weapons and
basically
things.
like
So
a horde game, right?
pretty much in a
Okay.
sense. There is like an overarching story, and like the whole point is to like avoid the zombies if you
Yeah.
can. But obviously that never works out. So
Yeah.
but
Classic.
yeah, one of the main things that we enjoyed about the first one was like you could just make these wacky weapons by like crafting things together, and it's super fun, like electric swords, and it's
Okay.
great. So I can't wait for this. I very much will be in my basket day one.
Mhm.
Cannot wait to play it. Cannot wait.
It looks good. The next one that is kind of interesting, but I also don't know what the hell it is. It's called Everywhere. It looks like you can basically make your own world slash games or whatever you want to make in a game in this game. So
Yeah.
adult Roblox or something. That's all we know about it.
There was very little to go off in this trailer. They just showed off like a bunch of different environments and like characters
Like
doing some different
cars.
things, like
Yeah.
driving or doing parkour. There was like a rave in one of them, I think. Um, and there's no real like clue as to what this is, but the way that they've described it is it looks like it's some like metaverse universe type thing.
Mm.
Where you can just kind of be anything, do anything, that sort of gist. Again, no clue. It's set to release sometime in 2023, so we'll probably get some more news within the next couple of months before the turn of the year, I would assume. But yeah, I'm the same as you, Jens. I got no clue.
Yeah.
No clue. I think I said earlier this year when the first June game came out, or like the rebooted June game, and after the movie and all that stuff,
Yeah.
that it was the year of June, like the resurgence of June and all that
absolutely.
stuff. And it's very much true. I still stand by that because we're getting a brand new June game on top of the other one we got
Spice
earlier in the year,
Wars.
in top of Spice Wars. That's the one. Thank you. Called June Awakening, and it is a survival MMO game.
This looks
very
very
interesting.
cool.
Yeah, it's like an open world survival game, obviously set in the June universe. You know what to expect. It was a cinematic trailer, so like no real gameplay to go off. But I'm not too familiar with the June universe, but I'm assuming this is going to be some arbitrary character that has no real links to like the books or any of the other media, just to kind of steer clear of like any continuity, like hiccups and whatnot. But yeah, it looks interesting. I would very much play this one over Spice Wars, I think.
Me too.
And beta signups are currently open as well, so it seems like it's real close around the corner. Because if beta signups are open, they're probably within the next couple of months or half a year or so. Maybe very early next year. But if you want to, again, I'll whack the link down below for the beta signups. If you want, head down there and whack your email and details in, and hopefully you guys get contacted. I might honestly sign up for it.
I signed up for it. As soon as
Just
I
to
watched
see,
the trailer, I was like, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
It looks cool.
It's that
looks
cool
really
of a
good.
trailer that, yeah, I'm down.
Same.
I'm down.
Next up, we have more footage of Callisto Protocol, which I'm quite excited for it. But basically in the trailer, we get to see a bit more about the enemies that we're going to go up against in the game and the mutation mechanic, where basically if you shoot off someone's head, it kind of grows back after a while. I don't know if it's
so
every enemy.
You got to finish your enemies.
Yeah. Double tap. So it looks really
always.
cool. It looks really cool, but it also looks really fucking hard.
See, I'm hoping that it's scarier than Dead Space because I'm sure I'm gonna sound like some hardcore hips that was like, oh, Dead Space was, but like I didn't find Dead Space that scary.
Dead Space
initially,
was
maybe
just jump scares.
Maybe I missed the boat, like playing it
Maybe.
the first time because I did start it like a couple of years afterwards and all that sort of stuff. But when I played it, I didn't find it scary because, like you said, Jens, it was just jump scares. Like, and yeah, the first one gets you, but then after that, you're like, okay, cool, that's it. Like, I want some like tension to be built up. I want like some like legitimate fear. So it'd be kind of cool if they had some like little tastes of like Alien Isolation things in there where like your heart was pounding,
I feel the thing I get from this trailer is more that it's going to be like a Last of Us type feel where you have to like hide from them and then make sure you can stab them in the back. Like just more stealth.
Be a bit more clinical with your approach.
And just like, I don't think it's going to be classic horror, like what you would want, like from a Outlast or whatever. I think it's more down this space Last of Us feel.
I don't think they've said that either. I think the director of the game, the last time they released a gameplay trailer for it, I think he said that it's like gore horror.
Right.
So if you're a big fan of blood and guts and gore and things like that, it's gonna be right up your alley. But yeah, it doesn't
Well,
sound like
that
it's gonna
death
be your
sequence at the end of the trailer
spooky
was
sort of game.
pretty damn like
Yeah,
brutal.
yeah, yeah.
It looks
And
really
they
hot.
showcased another one in that last one again. In this trailer, you see them, but there's like these wall blades or fans.
Yeah.
We pushed you pushed one of the enemies into it,
It's kind
and
of
you can
like
also be pushed into it. Like,
what's it
yeah,
called? Tomb Raider.
yes, yeah. Nah.
um
Yeah, I'm interested in it. I don't know if I'll pick it up day one,
mm,
but I'm interested to see what people think of it when it comes out because it is just around the corner.
yeah.
I think it's sometime towards the end of the year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think
December
so.
2nd it is. Yeah. But yeah. Moving on though, Lords of the Fallen. Now, I thought when I first saw this trailer that it was like some DLC for the last Soulsborne game that we got
Yeah.
from Elden Ring, but no, it's like a totally different sort of game. It is a sequel though to the first Lord of the Fallen game, so they didn't really change too much about it. They added the to the title, so it's the Lords of the Fallen. And it looks like it's more of a reboot than a sequel as well, which is kind of
Yeah.
interesting. But yeah, it's, what you can kind of expect from your Soulsborne-y, swordy, slashy type game. There's lots of bosses. There's, cool magic scenes, all that sort of stuff. Again, it's
Yeah.
not a gameplay trailer, so we don't know exactly what the gameplay is going to be like, but we can assume it's going to be very similar to the first one. But yeah, for you Lords of the Fallen fans out there, you're getting a sequel slash prequel slash reboot sort of thing. I'm not too sure. Which is, coming out, I think, no date yet. But it is available for wish lists on like all the stores that it's available on. So your PlayStations, your Xboxes, your Steams, all that fun stuff. But it is just for all the next gen consoles. They're not doing previous gen. So all your PS4 or Xbox One players out there, I'm sorry,
Missing
but you're
out.
going to have to upgrade
Yeah.
if you can get your hands on a console, obviously.
True.
But yeah.
Next up is Moving Out 2, the from SMG Studio, the studio in Victoria. How exciting. Is going
Lovely
to get
Aussie devs.
another Moving Out. Moving Out is great. It's kind of like Overcooked, but just moving. But now they've added online, which
built in.
You know
finally.
what? I'm so excited for this.
Yeah.
Because it's the perfect game online multiplayer game. We're definitely going to have to play this.
The first one, Moving Out, did have online, but you could only do it through Steam via the Steam Cloud. So like if you didn't have
integrated.
If you didn't have like a decent sort of interconnection on both ends, you were kind of shit out of luck in a sense. And they did say that they were working on online for Moving Out initially, or like it was in the plans, but they were just seeing if it would fit in with their scope and all that stuff. And clearly they've just been like, you know what? We'll just make a second one and we'll bake it right into there because it seems like it'll be easier. So it's
honestly,
but
it was
I'm down.
so surprising that they didn't have like integrated online.
And look, I understand as well, like they had it in their whole dev blog and like the dev diaries and things like that, and they developed Moving Out as the perfect couch co-op game to like play with your partners, to play with your families, to play with like bring your friends over, like the traditional sort of way. And so I get that was their whole goal, but these days you just, as much as you have that feature, also have online because, for us, for example, like you're in a different state. It's not so like I can just quickly fly down and you can fly up and we can just have a quick round or two of Moving Out. Like it's, it's not going to work that way. So it's good that they've, sort of added it in and made a whole new one. And hopefully we get some new wacky zones and things like that. Cause like you can go to the moon in the first Moving Out. There's a whole, it gets crazy. It gets crazy.
So expect some videos.
Yes.
The next one, I feel like, I don't know if it's still controversial, but Hogwarts
it's very much
Legacy.
still is controversial. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
We got a new trailer from Hogwarts Legacy featuring what happens when you practice dark magic in the game.
Yeah.
Which obviously they would have in the game. So it's exactly what you expect it to be.
It's one of the like the whole like selling points, I guess, of the game is that as much as you want to become like a great wizard or witch or what have you, you can also turn to the dark side if you want and practice the dark arts.
And you know, people will be doing this.
Without a doubt. People are they're without even a second guess. People are gonna be like, yeah, let me learn Avada Kedavra.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Like, but yeah, and this game also not too long ago just got its new release date because it did get delayed ever so slightly, and they didn't pin a release date on it. But now it is coming out February 10th, 2023, so just a couple of months after what it was initially meant to come out. So not too long of a wait if you were excited for Hogwarts Legacy. And that's also coming to like all of your major sort of platforms and things like that as well. So, it's But it'd be very interesting to see what happens around release time with that.
Yeah, Twitch would be an interesting space for that, I think.
Yeah. Twitch and Twitter are going to be popping off.
Yeah.
Popping off. Yeah. Interestingly enough, gents, those old sort of choose your own adventure games that we thought were sort of finished when when they all stopped coming out and Telltale sort of went to solvency and all that sort of stuff. No, they're back. So yeah, I remember maybe right at the start of the year, or right at the end of last year, we did a little story on like how Telltale was coming back in some way.
Yeah.
And we are getting a brand new Tales from the Borderlands special set from the new Telltale Studios series things. So like I said, it's going to be a spiritual successor to the original Telltale series, who introduced some new characters like Reese and Fiona. The game, obviously very similar to all the other Telltale type things, are going to feature 5 episodes launched simultaneously, and it's also going to use its own story, write its own story, very much similar to the original one, with new characters and probably some new settings and all that stuff as well. So for all you Borderlands fans out there, or all you story adventure fans out there as well, we're getting sort of a little resurgence again of all these ones. I myself, not the biggest fan of them.
Yeah, I never got into them, but I know a lot of people loved Telltale and Borderlands. I know The Walking Dead was like really good.
The Walking Dead was massive.
And the Wolf one, I forget what that one is.
Yeah. But there's a lot of good ones. I own both the Batman ones and still haven't finished them just because, like I said, I can't really get into these story type games. They just don't have like the level of interactivity that I like in video games. I kind of like to always be doing something and always be having something going on. So like when I'm sort of sitting there just watching a cutscene play out and then having to select like one of 4 options, it's a bit like, it gets a bit draining for me. So
that's fair. Speaking just quickly before we move on, also with the Telltale series, The Expanse is getting a Telltale series from this Gamescom.
Yes.
So people who like The Expanse, the books or the TV show, you have that looking.
And there's a lot of people that love The Expanse.
Yeah, The Expanse is a huge franchise.
Yeah.
I don't really know a lot, if not the books are great and the show is great. So
I think I've heard Nazy recommend it a bunch.
Oh yeah.
If not mistaken, I think she's a big fan. Yeah.
Yeah, I know Badger loves audiobooks.
Yeah. Okay.
Moving on, Lightfall for Destiny 2 lovers. So I have dabbled in Destiny, and I think I have to come back to it because
an on again, off again relationship with Destiny.
They're adding grapple hooks to Destiny, and it looks like the trailer is very cyberpunk of a world.
Okay.
Which is really, really interesting to me, and like a really I guess surprising look for Destiny. I didn't even recognize it as Destiny.
I see what you mean. It does look very cyberpunky or like city
very city.
Yeah, like all of the previous, maybe not so much cyberpunk, but like just futuristic city and things like that, But yeah, like all the previous Destiny content that I've seen, like, they've been on these like cool, interesting planets and they've had like little towns, but nothing that looks like to this sort of scale, I feel like, in terms of a city or like a city environment like this. So I kind of get where you're coming from. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks cool though. It's also going to introduce Neptune as a location in the world with a whole new campaign. And introducing a new subclass called Strand, which I don't know what Strand means. But
apparently Destiny, they had a whole like 3-hour breakdown
Oh, right.
presentation as well.
Should check
So
that out.
if you have 3 hours to kill over dinner
Yeah.
tonight or something, give it a watch. Because I'm not a big Destiny fan, but I saw some people talking about it in one of the Discords, and I was like, damn, 3 hour breakdown
That
video.
is,
That's
yeah. I mean,
that's
Destiny
something else.
is so like rich in lore.
It's very
Um,
in depth. So yeah,
Makes sense.
and they honestly they were probably pushed for time. They were probably pushed
Oh,
for
you
time.
reckon?
Like
Yeah,
yeah,
maybe.
without a doubt. I reckon they had it about 5
If they have the
hours,
Snyder
and
cut, it
then
would be 5 hours.
yeah, and then the guys at Gamescom were like, "Look, lads, we got to cull it back. You got to shave some things out of it." Like, damn it, all right, we'll see what we can do.
3 hours, cut it.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna come out February 28th, 2023.
Yeah. Lots of people are going to be excited for that. Lots of people.
Yeah, for sure.
One that I'm honestly kind of excited about, but kind of skeptical as well.
Yeah.
We got a new sort of gameplay premiere trailer for the upcoming Sonic Frontiers game. So not too long ago, we did get our first sort of look at it. And a lot of people roasted it for the world looking kind of empty. And like, look, I agree with them, and a lot of the worlds do still look kind of empty.
Yeah.
But I also don't know how you can build up an environment for such a fast-moving character without there being like any hiccups, like having the player crash into obstacles constantly, and all that sort of stuff. So you do kind of have to have these vast open environments for them to really be fleshed out and things. But it still looks kind of fun, honestly. I think I'm honestly going to pick it up. I've never been the biggest fan of Sonic just because I don't like the 2D sort of platformerness of the Sonic ones. But this one, yeah, honestly looks kind of cool, and it seems like it has an interesting story. So I think I'm down for it. It comes out November 8th this year, so only a couple of months away. And again, coming to all major platforms, including last gen as well, so your PlayStation 4s and Xbox Ones, as well as Nintendo Switch. So a good portion of players are going to be able to get that one in their little consoles there.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Next one is called Under the Waves, which is being developed in conjunction with ocean preservationists, which
That's cool. That's cool.
I think is really cool.
Yeah.
But I think it's gonna be like a David Attenborough where you cry. I feel.
Yeah. Without
like
a doubt.
look at how bad humans are. It kind of gives me that vibe.
Yep. It's gonna be holding a mirror up to you and be like, look at what you've done, you sick monster. Look at you.
So I'm all for it. Make me cry.
Yeah. These games are always so good because they are like quite confronting, and it's always good to have that sort of a reality check, for lack of a better word.
Absolutely.
And kind of like a wake up call.
The gaming market is so big, to have a game to help,
I feel like I've talked about this again on the podcast before, but it reaches a different demographic that would not have seeked this content out if it wasn't in the form of a video game, Like, if you show this, like, I'm not sure what this game is sort of rated for, or like who the target audience primarily is, but like, if I'm assuming if you give a 12-year-old kid a choice between an iPad or a Nintendo Switch and a coloring book, I can guarantee you almost 9 times out of 10 that they're going to pick the iPad or the Switch to, like, engage their content on. So, at least having it in some form of an educational sense is good, because it helps to target that audience. And, as much as they might not get it immediately, a couple of years later, they might be like, actually, you know what, that's sinking in now. And I kind of, that game was right. Like,
and like all the influences on the, gaming platforms, I feel like that's a really good way to spread it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope it's good. And hopefully some of the proceeds go to ocean preservation.
That's true.
It would be nice.
Be interesting if it was only shipped digitally to help curve
that would be good
plastic
too.
Consumption, because it'd be interesting if it's like, we're in conjunction with ocean preservationists, and then they ship them out in their Blu-ray cases that are like not made of recycled plastics and are like probably going to get lost, and like it'd kind of be like a catch-22.
True. That's interesting.
But it'd be interesting to see. Obviously you can't get around it if the publishers are like, look, we want to ship this game to as many people as possible, so we're doing it. But very interesting. Up next, Friends v Friends. very interesting cartoon looking card based sort of like strategy type game.
Mm,
Um, again, no real gameplay in the trailer until right at the end. We only get a little
tiny
look at
bit,
it.
yeah.
But it's it looks like it's a first person shooter where depending on the cards that you play or choose, you have like different skill sets or like different attributes and perks
Mm,
and things like that. Um, so it's kind of like a collect 'em up shooter type thing. Looks kind of cool. It has a very bright and vibrant art style.
yeah.
Very bright. So if you want to get like sensory overloads,
Yeah, this
this
is the
game's gonna
game.
do it. I
Yeah.
guarantee you. It's very colorful, very bright. It has a
I
really
like the
cool
music.
thick cell shading like style to it. And the music is great as well. Yeah, it's it's got the aesthetic is just cool. Put
Yeah.
it that way. Aesthetic is just cool.
Next one is called Lives of P, which is a Souls-like, another Souls-like,
Yeah,
set
they're
in
all
the
coming out.
world of Pinocchio, which I think is really cool.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, apparently it's set in the world of Pinocchio. I don't know how it's connected to Pinocchio, and maybe the P means Pinocchio. Maybe he's the end game boss. That'd be cool. Um,
True. What if he tells a bunch of lies and then right at the end, like, snaps his nose off and uses it like a
oh,
weapon?
yeah,
That
like
would
a
be
steak.
metal. Hell
That
yeah.
would be cool. I mean, maybe. We get a glimpse of some of the bosses in this trailer, and they look very like. There was one I think that was like a Jack in the Box kind of mixed clown looking thing.
Yeah.
It just
So
looks
it,
really
it
cool.
looks like they're pulling a lot of inspiration from like all your childhood,
Yeah,
uh, like bedtime story type
toys
characters
and
and things like
yeah.
that. Obviously, that are within the realm of what do they call it? There's like no IP on them, like
Oh yeah,
they're
yeah.
out of copyright and things like that. So it's I feel like there's a character in it around the 1 minute 40 mark, and I'm getting massive Alice in Wonderland vibes from her.
Yes.
Very like I'm not too sure if it's just like a
Wasn't
coincidence,
there a game we
but
spoke about coming out that is very much a Alice in the Wonderland ripoff?
yes, we talked about it a couple of videos ago. I forget what it's called,
Is
but
Alice in the You know how some IP is like free to use?
yes. So Alice in Wonderland, funnily enough, is uh
Mm,
part of that realm. Very much the same as Winnie the Pooh recently. I think right at the
yeah.
start of this year, Winnie the Pooh just hit that as well.
Apparently
Um,
there's a Winnie the Pooh horror game potentially coming out.
yeah, I'm not sure if it's a game, but I know that they're making like
Or maybe it's a show. I don't know.
I think it's a movie, yeah, where
Oh,
he's like
okay.
a serial killer
Like a
type thing.
mask. Yeah, okay. It's not a
Yeah.
game.
I'm very excited to watch it with Emma because she's a big Winnie the Pooh fan.
Mm.
Specifically Tigger. So I'm hoping that there is some
Yeah,
Tigger
Tigger needs to
action
be in
in
there.
there, for sure. I think Piglet's in it, and I think Eeyore might also be in it too. They released a trailer not too long ago.
That's
But
exciting.
yeah, it looks wacky. So it's coming up next, Atlas Fallen. So this game promises monster hunts of an enormous scale, probably similar to what you're going to find in like Monster Hunter and things like
Mm.
that. Hopefully even bigger. Who knows? Um, and it looks kind of interesting. I'm not too sure if it's up my alley, honestly,
Yeah,
because
okay.
again, I've not been the biggest fan of like the Monster Hunter type games. But it looks like to sort of fit with this like these giant monsters. They've also created a massive environment, and so because of that, they have this really cool traversal system where you can like surf on sand and things like that, and like skate around to get by a bit faster. It looks pretty cool. Coming out sometime next year, 2023. Again, not too sure if it's up my alley, but
Yeah.
for all you fans of the Surge as well, which is very similar to like a Souls. It's like a Soulsborne brother game in a sense.
Yeah.
It's made by the same people that made that as well. So hopefully some nice tough combat in there as well.
Yeah, the Surge is
To sort of
actually
scratch
quite
that itch.
hard, so I feel like it's going to be
Yeah,
that sort of scale of things.
yeah, possibly, yeah.
But it looks pretty. I am
It
curious about
does.
this one.
The environments, as much as they're massive and sort of like they look quite barren because it is all like sandy, like
Yeah.
deserty type environments. They do look very nice. I do have to give them props for that. Again, it is just like a CG trailer, so take it with a grain of salt, but
Mm-hmm.
it does look really nice. Yeah.
The next one is called Killer Clowns. from the producers behind Friday the 13th. We don't really see a lot of gameplay trailer or any. It's just very much a cinematic.
I've replayed like the last 15 seconds of it to try and get like what I can out of it, but
I imagine it'll be like Friday the 13th. Like,
I think so. I think it's going to be like a Friday the 13th Dead by Daylight type sort of game where one person plays as the clown or two people play as the clowns or something like that, and then the others are playing as, you know, humans or survivors or whatever you want to call them, that have to try and like escape from wherever they are, and, you know, by completing a certain tasks and things like that. So it's probably gonna be something like that.
There hasn't been a lot of scary clown games, so I'm curious.
No, and hopefully it is scary too. Hopefully it is scary. Because as much as they can just make a scary clown, you know, the game's got to be scary too, you know.
Totally.
But yeah, and then the last one on our list this week, Jens, the Outlast Trials. Now, is this meant to be a follow-up game from like the Outlast series, or are they just using like a very similar name?
Let me look it up.
Like, I have no idea, because it says in the description here, the Red Barrel's development team is hard at work to deliver an all-new experience of the Outlast, but with the Outlast flavor fans know and love. So it is, it's made from the same developers as the Outlast, those very critically acclaimed horror games, which again, pretty much just jump scare galore.
Oh my god, yes.
Nothing too crazy for them. But yeah, it looks like it's a merge of like Outlast and Saw. Because you seem like there's like a lot of these rooms or like hallways or things where like, you know, you're trapped and there's a mad scientist that's trying to perform these experiments on you, and then you've got to try and find a way to escape, and then you're going on the run. Like in Outlast 1 and 2, like a lot of it was you're on the back foot and you were running away from these enemies and trying to hide, and you know, that was what made it so scary. And so it seems like they're turning it up to 11 by adding in this like whole Saw element. Where there's going to be a lot of pressure on you trying to break out of these, like, you know, traps in a sense. And then, make it through the environment a little bit more. But it looks like there's a bunch of, like, bosses, for lack of a better term. And they all look kind of wacky and crazy. So, like, you know, there's your mad scientist. There's, like, you know, your chainsaw man, your traditional chainsaw man. There's going to be some clowns. There's going to be, like, you know, some pigmen and things like that. There's a whole lot of these creepy sort of creatures.
It kind of feels like Resident Evil Village, where you have like different houses mean different bosses, and it kind of feels that like which I think is
like all these different
very
zones.
Interesting way to go around it.
I'd be interested in playing this more so than like Outlast 1 or 2. I feel, you know,
Outlast 1 was so good though.
Outlast
2 you can skip, I think, because the theme, like, it was a bit weird.
The theme was quite a bit heavier, I think, in Outlast 2 than Outlast 1.
It's very, I think, Jesus-y. And then Outlast 3 was that weird pregnancy one.
I think that was Outlast 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, maybe it's Outlast 2. Oh, maybe I was thinking of...
I don't know if there is an Outlast 3.
Really old game. Old horror classic.
Slenderman. Oh, I don't know.
Fuck. Okay.
I haven't played horror until like the last 5 years, maybe. So...
Oh my god, it's like, it's what PewDiePie would play, you know, that sort of genre era.
Oh, yeah,
you know?
Okay. I think, it's good, yeah. You're going to have to remind me of the names, but it's, I know what you're thinking
Amnesia.
of. Yes, that one.
Yeah, that's the pregnancy
and things
one.
like that as well. Yeah.
I will say, this trailer is very flashy.
Yes.
So...
Yeah, I won't have it behind us because it basically is just
for anyone listening.
And,
it is, you know, very flashy.
Yeah,
like with no warning. So
I'm glad I didn't watch this at like 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. whenever Gamescom kicked off, because like my eyes at that time would not have been able to keep up. Like,
no, I couldn't even keep up at 2 p.m. It was intense of a trailer.
There's a lot of flashing. Yeah, it is. It's very intense.
Oh yeah, you want to say about the closed beta?
But yeah, is there a closed beta for this as well?
Yeah, you can sign up for a closed beta.
Oh, okay.
Which starts Halloween weekend. When is Halloween? October?
Like towards the end of October. I think it's October 31st or 30th. Isn't it? So it'll be a Wednesday? No.
Oh, okay.
be a Monday, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So
I think this would be. I hope this is good.
it's looking good. It's looking good, and there seems to be a lot of people that are enjoying it. So I have seen a lot of people on Twitter talking about this morning.
Yes.
And same in the YouTube comments for the video as well. There's a bunch of people like, "Damn, this actually looks really cool." And yeah, I have to agree. I think it's looking like it's gonna be my favorite Outlast game.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's something a little bit different. I got quite a bit sick in Outlast 1 and 2 of having to walk around with the camera a lot.
That's fair.
And in this, it doesn't look like when you're running around, like in the first person views of this, it doesn't look like you're running around with a camera in your hand. So there's not gonna be that need to just find there's fucking batteries everywhere.
Yeah.
And, look through the tiny viewfinder
horror.
and
Okay.
like it looks like the environments look like they're well lit. So I don't have to worry about having night vision cameras.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It definitely was of its time, that sort of camera thing.
Yeah. It's very much like Blair Witch type, things.
Yes. Oh yeah, Blair Witch.
Like found footage type stuff, yeah.
I don't know how exactly you can get into the beta. I'm sure you can Google it.
I think it'll be on Steam, I want to say.
Steam. Oh, you can request access on Steam.
Yeah. So if you have a Steam account, if you go to the page, because you can also wishlist it from there.
Yeah.
You can just request access.
This might be coming out in 2022, according to Google. So.
Yeah, I mean, probably. I mean, there's no release date set on Steam or Epic Games Store as of yet, so we have no clue, but very likely probably going to be 2023. But yeah, be interested to see what the beta is probably just a demo, just trying to get a couple of people to like pre-order it again.
Maybe like PT
just get
demo,
a little bit of extra things.
Kind of feel.
Yeah, but something like that,
Wait, speaking of PT, didn't Kojima do a thing saying?
Yeah, Kojima had a thing. He again just popped up in a little pre-recorded video to announce that he was starting a podcast on Spotify, an official podcast, which I think is going to be a weekly episode thing. I could be wrong. Let me just double check my notes here, but I think I think he said it's going to be a weekly type thing. Where he's, I'm assuming just going to be doing a bunch of things like, brain structure. Yeah, it seems like it's just going to be based on like how he comes up with concepts for games and content and like his creative process and things like that. So yeah, I don't know.
That'd be interesting because his games are whack, like the ideas in them.
They're always left of field stuff.
Yeah, so it'd be so interesting if he does explain his thought process. I mean, I feel like maybe he won't in depth, but be interesting.
It would be interesting, yeah. But it's coming out next month as well. So and you can find a preview on Spotify if you want. It's called Brain Structure, like I said. So if you want, give that one a search on Spotify. Get that one saved and favorited as well. Whilst you're there, also search Hello Hello. Make sure to save and favorite that if you haven't already. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. There's a lot of Kojima content coming out. A lot.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it means he's ramping up to something.
Hopefully.
But who knows? You never know with that man. You never know. But that's it. That's our Gamescom wrap up. Like I said, there's a ton of other games that we've skipped over as well. We mostly did it of the games that sort of jumped out and seemed the most interesting to us.
There was a roller coaster game that could be interesting, but
yes, yeah, that one I liked as well. It's called Park Beyond. Looks like it's your typical sort of roller coaster building simulator type thing. I just saw it in a list and I was like, I'm always been a big fan of those because one of the first PC games I remember playing other than Age of Empires was Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, I think it was, or 2. And man, that game was a lot of fun. Yeah. You wouldn't think like 6 or 7 year old Ramo would have been worried about like, his investment opportunities in his theme park, but I very much was. Very much was.
That's kind of like Sims, but of a theme park,
Yeah, it was. It's Sim City, but with a theme park instead.
Yeah.
And I just always liked turning on the cheats and then building the wackiest roller coaster possible,
Yeah.
Like with like the biggest one.
Biggest loops.
Oh, yeah, the best. Most G-force, all that sort of stuff,
Holy shit.
But yeah.
The Hogwarts Legacy Collector's Edition is $500.
I'm sorry, what?
Is that unusual?
What is it? Yeah, that's got to be. What does it come with?
It comes with it comes with a floating wand, which is life size over a book.
I mean, look, that's pretty cool, but
$500.
That's a bit expensive. Yeah, $500 for some like probably plastic and magnets. That's
interesting. I mean, and digital stuff and 72 hours early access, like other shit,
Yeah, okay. Your standard sort of like other stuff.
Yeah. Damn.
But that is very expensive. I guarantee you as well, the way that floating wand works is going to be a bitch to set up.
Either that or it's going to be really bad, like a little thin plastic that you hook it into and you can pretty much see the plastic,
In some light you can see it, but when you're not looking at it properly.
But it would be cool if it was like, because you can get things that float, and I don't know how they do it, but
yeah, they're just done with electromagnets.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it's going to be that, but with those, there's like a very specific sweet spot that you've got to get it into.
Right.
And so I can imagine that some kid's probably going to ask like this for Christmas or, what have you. And then his parents going to get it, and his parents on Christmas Day are going to be sitting there trying to fucking get this little wand to balance on this very specific part in the book. And then any bump of like the entertainment unit or coffee table that's on is just going to send that wand off and flying, or it's going to magnet right to the book and be like, shit. So.
And then the kid's going to cry because magic's not real.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
But yeah. Man, this is getting more and more expensive. Far out.
Games
that is
are
incredible.
Expensive.
That is incredible. Yeah. Oh well. Anyways, gents. That's all the list we've got. Was there anything else you wanted to add on before we do wrap up for the week?
Nothing from Gamescom, but She-Hulk is out. So maybe we'll talk about She-Hulk next week.
Yeah, next week. I still haven't seen the first episode yet.
Okay.
Because again, like I've just been flat out busy, but I'm gonna try and watch it tonight, I think.
We can always we'll talk about She-Hulk either if we can fit it on a weekly basis, we will. If not, we can do it at the very end. Because I think it's quite a short series.
I think it's only 7 or episodes or so, give or take. I want to say, so we'll maybe see less.
Which way we'll go. Maybe we'll do first impressions, and then we'll see if we do it weekly for you guys on the podcast.
But having said that, I have heard good things about
it. Yeah,
I have heard good things, so kind of excited. Yeah, but yeah, no, nothing from me either. So yeah, thank you guys for letting us have that little 2-week break off, mostly for Jen's because she obviously needed to recover. And so it's one less thing to worry about having to get up every day and sort of record an episode or find a couple of things to do. So it's very nice. But yeah. But anyways, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and also like the video. And same with the podcast too. And then we will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye. What?